This is the one time I'm gonna be with you niggas this year.
Because I see a lot of jokes out there right now talking about baby oil.
I'm calling you out. What you want to do, Curtis? Curtis!
This is Stevie J, someone who has remained openly loyal to Diddy and has never tried to hide which side he's on. As the situation around Diddy intensified, Stevie J decided to publicly insert himself into the drama by flexing to a diss track made by Puff's son that was aimed directly at 50 Cent. He didn't stop there either. He went as far as challenging 50 to a physical fight, framing it like a serious confrontation rather than just internet noise.
I'm not going to speak bad about P. Diddy because he's still a black man. Mistakes happen, and I can't say if it is or it's not a mistake, but things happen in life.
On the surface, it might look like standard hip-hop bravado, but to 50 Cent, the entire thing came off as comedy more than anything else. 50 didn't respond with threats or explanations. Instead, he laughed. And not just a little laugh, but the kind of exaggerated, drawn-out laughter that makes it clear he doesn't take the situation seriously at all.
Black excellence, they're sitting there like, yeah. It's the billionaire brunch.
Oh,
Like,
I hate you, man.
unaware of anything going on here. This is the one time I'm gonna be with you niggas this year.
He mocked the video, questioned why anyone would even post something like that, and sarcastically stated that he couldn't wait to be in the same place as them, implying that whatever Stevie J thought he was doing, he clearly didn't understand who he was dealing with.
All in her champagne, she ain't even know it. I took her home and I enjoyed that. She ain't even know it.
The tone wasn't defensive, it was dismissive, almost amused, like watching someone shadowbox with an imaginary opponent. But what makes moments like this more important is the larger pattern behind them. For 50 Cent, this has never been about one viral moment or one back-and-forth exchange. For more than 2 decades, 50 has operated the same way. He doesn't just go after his main target, he goes after the entire circle around them. If you publicly take Diddy's side, remain silent in his defense, or even appear neutral while standing close to him, you automatically put yourself on 50's radar. From his perspective, loyalty to Puff is enough to justify public ridicule.
I'm not going to speak bad about P. Diddy because he's still a black man. Mistakes happen, and I can't say if it is or it's not a mistake, but things happen in life. And P. Diddy business is P. Diddy business. It's not my job or anyone else's job to go on the internet and stump him and kick a man while he's down. My take on it is, it's not my business. I don't think it's right at all, and I don't condone it. Even if that happened to my daughter, I would be hurt, but that's the choice that my daughter made.
One of the clearest examples of this strategy is Floyd Mayweather. Over the years, Floyd and 50 have had a complicated relationship, bouncing between friendship and hostility. When the wave of lawsuits and legal trouble hit Diddy and his arrest became public, Mayweather chose to speak out, but not in the way many expected. Instead of distancing himself, he emphasized unity, stating that he wasn't going to speak badly about Diddy, framing it as a situation involving another black man, and suggesting that mistakes happen in life. He repeatedly stressed that it wasn't his place to judge or pile on. To 50 Cent, this wasn't neutrality, it was alignment, and he responded accordingly. He pointed out that nobody even asked Floyd for his opinion in the first place.
This is a special ASLELS challenge for you, Floyd. If you can read one full page of a Harry Potter book, nigga, I'll give $750,000 to whatever charitable organization you want to. Nice, man. I got a phone call from my man Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy said if Floyd accepts the challenge, that he'll put it on the actual show so you can read it on the show. We don't want to put pressure on you. We know you can't pronounce those words in that Harry Potter book, so we're going to let you read Cat in the Hat.
The comment wasn't prompted, it was volunteered. That alone made it suspicious in 50's eyes. He went after Floyd publicly, mocking him and questioning whether he was confused or just inserting himself where he didn't belong. In typical 50 fashion, the insult wasn't just personal, it was humiliating. He told Floyd to get him out of his head and accused him of sounding like a hater who couldn't help but speak up at the wrong moment. From there, 50 leaned into something he's been joking about for years, Floyd's alleged inability to read. This wasn't new territory. Their long-running feud has always included that angle, but this time he brought it back with extra venom. He publicly challenged Floyd to read one full page from a Harry Potter book, promising to donate $750,000 to any charity Floyd chose if he could do it. The challenge wasn't really about charity, it was about embarrassment. It was about putting Floyd in a position where silence would look like confirmation. When Jimmy Kimmel got involved and suggested Floyd read on his show, 50 doubled down instead of backing off. He sarcastically lowered the bar, saying they didn't want to pressure Floyd with words he couldn't pronounce, so they'd let him read Cat in the Hat instead. The joke landed exactly how 50 wanted it to. It wasn't aggressive, it was dismissive, condescending, and designed to make Floyd look foolish rather than dangerous. Once again, 50 showed that his preferred weapon isn't fists, it's ridicule. Then comes Rick J, another name that consistently shows up whenever Diddy's inner circle is discussed. Rick J has never hidden his admiration for Diddy. He's repeatedly referred to him as a mentor, someone who inspired him and helped guide his career. When the allegations and lawsuits surfaced, Rick J didn't hesitate to take a stance.
I've never seen a freak off. What does that really mean? I mean, is that really real? Is this 50-50? Are we creating a new narrative for something that's not there? Was it really in the baby oil? I mean, what are we doing?
He openly said he believed Diddy should be cleared of all charges, insisting that anything that happened between adults was consensual. That alone was enough to put him on 50's radar. Rick J went even further, questioning whether the so-called freak-off parties even existed at all. He claimed he had never seen anything like that, suggesting the narrative was being exaggerated or manufactured. He openly asked whether people were just creating a new storyline that wasn't real, joking about baby oil, lube, and the internet's obsession with turning everything into a meme. That interview only got stranger as it went on. Rick J made bizarre comments that sounded more like nervous deflection than confident defense. He tried to joke his way through serious allegations, jumping from humor to denial to abstract metaphors that didn't clarify anything.
Asses are being taken in ways that nobody can explain. Because I see a lot of jokes out there right now talking about baby oil. Everybody got a joke about having baby oil and lube. Is that okay? Is that the message? That was funny, fam. Now what? I don't use baby oil.
To many viewers, it didn't look like loyalty, it looked like panic, and 50 Cent noticed immediately. 50's reaction was instant and brutal. He openly questioned what Rick J was doing, laughing at how unhinged the interview sounded. He suggested Rick J was spiraling, talking just to talk because Diddy was down bad. In another post, 50 referenced rumors that Puff's sons had almost gotten into a physical altercation with Rick J at a party, implying that Rick J's behavior might explain why tensions were high in the first place. Whether or not there was actually a fight didn't even matter. The implication alone was enough to embarrass him. From 50's perspective, Ray J wasn't defending Diddy out of principle. He was scrambling, talking too much, saying the wrong things, and making himself look guilty by association. 50 even joked that he needed to call Ray J and tell him to chill, not out of concern, but because every word Ray J said was making things worse. And that brings the focus back to the people who didn't just passively stand by Diddy, but actively and aggressively defended him. The ones who stepped forward instead of staying quiet, the ones who turned loyalty into a public performance. At the top of that list sits Stevie J, someone who didn't just defend Diddy, but openly challenged 50 Cent himself, pulling the situation out of the digital space and trying to turn it into something physical. And for 50, that kind of move doesn't signal strength, it signals desperation. Stevie J is a longtime music producer and a former core member of the Bad Boy Records camp, someone who has been closely tied to Diddy for decades. When federal pressure around Diddy intensified in the spring of 2024, Stevie didn't hesitate to step forward in his defense. In fact, during one of the highly publicized raids, Stevie J was reportedly inside Diddy's Miami home. Later, he described the entire situation as overblown and theatrical, insisting that what the public was seeing didn't reflect reality at all. In an interview with Fox 5 New York, Stevie J flatly denied every accusation against Diddy. He claimed that none of it was true and went as far as saying that Diddy has never broken the law. According to Stevie, the entire narrative surrounding the allegations was fabricated.
You know, they saying that people at the church doing it. So now I can't turn cheek to cheek when somebody hit me because now I'm thinking about butt cheeks. You know, it's like, it's a lot.
Driven by media sensationalism rather than facts, he emphasized that they were law-abiding citizens and suggested that the legal storm surrounding Diddy was nothing more than a dramatic setup. Stevie didn't stop there. He openly criticized 50 Cent for publicly celebrating Diddy's legal troubles, accusing him of crossing a line. In an emotional response, Stevie called 50 an Uncle Tom, implying that he was betraying his own people by mocking a black man in crisis. The accusation was meant to shame 50, but anyone familiar with Fifth knew exactly how that was going to go. 50 Cent responded instantly and exactly as expected. He took the insult, flipped it, and turned it into a joke. Posting on social media, he wrote that Diddy's boyfriend had called him a sellout and that Stevie was absolutely correct. He said he was selling out, specifically Branson Cognac. The response completely stripped the accusation of its power and turned Stevie into the punchline. Things escalated even further after a lawsuit filed by Rodney Lil Rod Jones Jr. surfaced. In the filing, Jones alleged that Diddy had forced him to hire sex workers and participate in explicit acts. Stevie J's name appeared in the lawsuit as well, which immediately caught 50 Cent's attention. Fifth reacted by posting a screenshot of the headline, sarcastically writing, "Whoa, say it ain't so, Stevie J. What the F? This is a mess." The tone was mocking, but the implication was serious. That post set Stevie off. Furious, he went public again and openly challenged 50 Cent to a physical fight. He didn't frame it as a joke or metaphor either. Stevie said he was ready to deal with 50 in person, even suggesting they do it on television since it was entertainment. He accused 50 of ducking confrontation and repeatedly called him out by name. Fifth, of course, didn't meet aggression with aggression. He met it with ridicule. He mocked Stevie's size, joking that he hoped Stevie could even make it past security. Once again, Fifth demonstrated that humiliation was his preferred method of warfare. The entire exchange made Stevie look emotional and reactive, while Fifth appeared relaxed and in control. Around the same time, another unexpected name entered the picture: actor Marlon Wayans. A longtime friend of Diddy's who had attended his parties for years, Wayans was asked about the situation during an interview. Rather than directly defending Diddy, he criticized 50 Cent, suggesting that karma was waiting for him. Marlon argued that documentaries can be manipulated to push any narrative and implied that 50 was kicking a man while he was down. He warned that energy like that eventually comes back around. Marlon even suggested that whatever conflict existed wasn't really between 50 and Diddy, but between them and God. He said that if 50's luck ever turned, people would remember how he behaved during this moment. At the same time, he admitted that Fifth was smart and calculated, acknowledging that he had already survived worse, including being shot 9 times. That was all 50 needed. He immediately shifted focus to Marlon. First came a fake I-style video parodying statements about Diddy parties, mocking the idea of plausible deniability. Then came an image of Marlon wrapped in a pride flag, sitting among colorful plastic balls, with Fifth captioning it by telling him to keep his name out of his mouth. Another post followed, accusing Marlon of blowing kisses at Diddy. Each post escalated the embarrassment without ever sounding angry. Eventually, 50 declared the beef with Marlon Wayans officially over, on his terms. He posted a classic clip from Friday, superimposing Marlon's face onto the character Red, the awkward and goofy neighborhood clown, while casting himself as Debo, the intimidating villain everyone feared. It was a symbolic move that said everything without saying much at all.
My man would never break the law. We don't do that. We're law-abiding citizens.
Fifth ended it by saying he wasn't beefing with Marlon anymore, calling him unfunny and implying he wasn't worth the energy. And that's the pattern that keeps repeating. Whether it's Stevie J, Floyd Mayweather, Ray J, Marlon Wayans, or anyone else who publicly aligns themselves with Diddy, 50 Cent doesn't just respond, he dismantles. Not with fists, not with threats, but with timing, mockery, and relentless psychological pressure. He doesn't rush, he waits, watches, and strikes where it hurts the most. If you want to understand how 50 Cent has survived decades of industry politics, street pressure, and personal vendettas while watching his enemies fall one by one, check out the next video on how 50 Cent destroyed his enemies and stayed alive. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Famehood, drop a like if you enjoyed the breakdown, and I'll see you in the next one.